that any other diet is going to be optimal.
If we eat carnivore with lots of protein and saturated fat, won't this be detrimental to our health?
The reason a lot of people are concerned about animal foods is because they're rich in saturated fat, but they don't just contain saturated fat. And as I've already explained, saturated fat is not deleterious in any way. It's actually very, very healthy. But the interesting thing is when we come to the polyunsaturated fats, the omega-3s and the omega-6s, because their chemical structure means they're very prone to something called oxidation stress. It means they contain double bonds which are reactive. And if these fats oxidise before we consume them, they actually generate oxidative stress in the liver and can contribute to problems like insulin resistance. And we've actually measured this when we do studies and we give people vegetable oils which we know are heavily oxidised. We can actually measure these oxidised components in their blood very shortly after consumption. The beautiful thing about animal foods is, though, that we wouldn't eat them if they were off, if they were rancid. So the definition of rancidity is basically when the fats oxidise. So if these monounsaturated and polyunsaturated oils, called oleic acid and omega-3 and omega-6, they are essential to good health. But if we get them from meat sources, we're getting them so they're not oxidised, assuming that they're fresh, and they actually are essential, they're actually healthy for us. Whereas if we get those same oils and same fats from, say, a vegetable oil, the chances are, because these things oxidise within a matter of days, chances are that they are heavily oxidised and they'll be doing us damage. And that likely explains why the Sydney Diet Heart Study, the Minnesota Coronary Experiment, the corn oil study, all these studies actually demonstrated harms of vegetable oil consumption. So yes, meat is very rich in fat, but that's a good thing. It provides us with all the fats we need, saturated, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, and the best thing is in fresh meat, those fats are not oxidised, they're not doing us any harm at all.